Y'all hear about Dr. Umar going in on Deion Sanders? Um, he basically said that all these celebrities are showing up to Colorado to the white institution, but not really. They didn't really do that when he was at Jackson State, and he thinks a lot of it is because Deion just didn't get his people to rally.
We
So
commend Deion Sanders and we support Deion Sanders because he represents black excellence. But let me not forget, brothers and sisters, okay? At the end of the day, the University of Colorado, a white racist institution with less than 2% black students, is benefiting from all of this. But let us not forget that all this attention should be going to Jackson State. All this money should be going to Jackson State. We got celebrities rolling up to the University of Colorado who ain't never rolled up to a HBCU in their life. We got black celebrities rolling up to a football game for a white university, two white colleges playing each other. All that money, all that energy, all that attention should be going to Jackson State. It should be going to the HBCUs. When are we going to stop this let's prove we're as good as white people nonsense? I thought we were over this. We are still stuck on let's prove we can be as good as white people? Are we still stuck on that? 400 years later, we still proving to ourselves that we are capable of excelling Caucasians. That's low self-esteem-ish. Shakur Sanders, I hope you're not bunny hopping. No bunny hopping. I don't want to hear about no bunny hopping. I don't care who your father is. You better not be bunny hopping at the University of Colorado.
I mean, personally, I just find it to be admirable and inspirational that Dr. Umar is able to take time from his busy schedule of educating our children, building universities and such to comment on something like this. I mean, I just feel lucky and blessed that we were able to be given his perspective. I felt this way for a while, and every time he talks, it just reinforces it for me. He repeats shit 2 and 3 times in a row. I guess that he thinks that makes it more profound. He's
two
a
white
doctor.
institutions. Two white institutions.
Yeah,
Lily,
and
right.
a third time.
Lily
It's a dumb person's idea of what a smart person acts like. As far as him as Deion, why is he being held to this standard that nobody else in sports is held to? So when Deion coaches in the Pac-10 or the Pac-12, he's now promoting the white power structure somehow, but Carl Durrell, was he promoting it at UCLA? Was Brian Shaw promoting it at Stanford, or not Brian Shaw, whatever the brother's name that was coaching? Like, why is Deion? Why is he anointed Deion as his? I don't know, Hotep, Wakanda forever, motherfucking sports progeny. I don't get it. Like, what does he want Deion to do? Deion got 2 kids. He's trying to get to the league. He got to get some eyes on him. He got more than 2 kids. He's actually trying to get to the NFL. But, the way to do it is to get him playing against some top competition. So he took him to the Pac-12. Like, Dr. Umar, it seems that his towering intellect could maybe be dedicated to something more important than, trying to coat ride Deion. I don't know. What y'all think?
Yeah, I agree. There's not a whole lot that he needs to even be concerned with Deion. So there's a whole lot going on politically, how people use their position for things. When I say, that's what I mean by politically. So Umar is basically saying is gonna ride Deion's coattails to get this message out and completely have, like, he might as well throw a Deion thumbnail up on his thing, right? Because
who said he didn't? Shit, he probably did.
You know what I mean? Like, so he's sitting there using Deion's fame to get himself into this whatever next echelon that he wants to get into, and like you said, doing all of the different projects he's got going on, right? So you're basically doing the same thing, but again, I agree. Like, why would Deion be held to a different standard? None of the black coaches in the Pac-12 have ever been criticized for not doing something for black schools, whether they've coached there or not. This is the first time I've ever heard that. Jackson State saw tons of celebrities come to their school when Deion was there. He brought in all kind of people wanted to be at Jackson State games for the first time in a long time, and probably more than they ever in the history of that school. And I'm probably being conservative with that statement. So that part doesn't sit well with me because I don't think that would be true. And then Deion coming to a school that takes less than 2% black students, that's more based on the merits it takes to get into college and the number of black students who are applying to go into that college. Like, you're taking a statistic that you have no, you've got to look at so many other factors of that statistic. How many black people who are qualified didn't get in? And what percentage of those, in comparison to how many white kids or whatever kids, any other race, right? Like, so there's a whole lot to unpack there by just throwing that 2% stat out there. And Deion, like you said, people make business moves all day. People make business moves to do business with any type of another business that wants to make money. And if it's being white to want to do business, for Deion to put his son in an opportunity to be a Heisman Trophy winner, be the #1 pick in the NFL draft by taking him to a school that you consider white, well, that would also be considered a great business move. And Deion's been showing that for some time as of late. So, well, for some time and as of late are kind of contradictory, but he's made good business moves his whole life because he's created this character that we all want to enjoy and want to be a part of.
Yeah, he gets it.
Yeah, it's pretty bogus for me.
Wow. That was good, both of you. That was going to be one of my first questions. Like, is Jackson State not accessible? Do people not know how to drive to a game, get to a game, show up for a game? So with you sharing that, there's been many celebrities and many, this and that who have come through. I love to hear it. I think I've mentioned this on the show before. I've lived overseas. I've traveled overseas often, all this and that. Most people are so fascinated and enamored with African-American people. I'm ready for us to realize, like, we start this party. It don't matter where Deion is at, who likes what's going on. If we want to make something of something, we can do it. It to me doesn't seem like he waited to get to a white school to do this and that. And as if when he was in Jackson State, he wasn't putting any of his resources and all of this forward so that it was getting the same attention. So to kind of like down people for not showing up for Jackson State as much as they do Colorado, I don't know. It just didn't land for me because I just believe that we can have and do whatever we want. If we want to start a party in Idaho, we can do that. Like, most stuff kind of follows where we want to be and what we want to do. So if this is what he's choosing and where he's at, and with all the stuff that you said, KJ, like business wise and whatever, that's really all I'm seeing it for. I can't imagine looking at a football game and being like, I don't see any black people, and why are they just now celebrating this, and why are the celebrity? I just don't. Like you said, Miles.
What a miserable way to go through
life.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, you had time to give us that. Like, I'm more impressed with that.
Yeah, Dr. Umar. I agree with about 2% of the things that Dr. Umar says, and I disagree with 98% of the things that Dr. Umar says. This is part of that 98%. So Dr. Umar really doesn't understand like math and economics and scale.
But he's a genius and a doctor.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Which is odd that a doctor wouldn't understand these things. But yeah, no. I mean, Colorado has 66,000 students. Jackson State has 9,000. So, I mean, if you look at just the student body and everyone's who's related to the student body and the all the people who went there based on the scale of their student body every year, it's millions of people who are attached to the University of Colorado, and on a smaller scale, there's way fewer people attached to the University of Jackson State. So, I mean, why would it have the same effect, or why would such a small school have a greater effect than such a large school with so many people when it comes to bringing attention and focus to the football world? Just from a number standpoint, it really doesn't make any sense. But beyond that, like you said, Kay, the dude's a grifter, and he probably should have a Deion Sanders thumbnail on there on his rants.
He's smart.
Like a Leon Sandcastle.
Yeah.